The things you see in the woods. Tonight's story comes from Virginia, where two kids in the 1990s learned the hard way that the woods don't always belong to us. It starts off innocent enough, a snowy weekend, four-wheelers, and teenage fun. But it ended with something that still haunts them to this very day. This happened almost 30 years ago. I haven't told many people, mostly because, well, who would believe me? I was staying at a close friend's house for the weekend. We were kids in rural Virginia, a small town surrounded by soybean fields and endless woods. We loved riding four-wheelers, exploring the forest, finding old rusted cars and broken down equipment scattered deep inside. This time, though, the snow had fallen. About 6 inches. Perfect for tearing through the fields on our bikes. After a while, we parked the four-wheelers at the edge of the woods and decided to walk in. We wanted to start building a fort near some of the old debris. I carried a small hatchet for clearing branches and started chopping down some saplings for our wall. That's when I found it. A deer carcass. Rotting. I'd seen plenty of deer before, but this one was different. Its body was slashed, deep claw marks across its side. What predator could do this? And more importantly, why hadn't it finished the kill? I called my friend over. He looked just as uneasy as me, but we left it alone and went back to our fort. At least, that was the plan. As I tied some trees together with rope, something caught my eye. About 50 yards away stood a figure, shaped like a person, but wrong, blurry, rounded off, like the outline of a character you'd see hidden in a video game. I froze, and then I yelled, "Hey!" The figure darted behind a tree. My blood ran cold. I shouted for my friend. When he walked over, I tried to explain, but he just laughed at me. And then, as he was laughing, I looked past him. Over his shoulder, just 10 yards away, was that same shadow. I screamed, took off running for the field, yelling at him to follow. At first I heard his footsteps behind me, then they grew farther away. I turned my head. He'd split off, running his own direction. I didn't care, I just kept running. Ahead of me was a ditch, 5 feet deep. No way I should have cleared it. But pure fear launched me across. I don't even remember landing. When I reached the field, I finally stopped, breathing hard, scanning the tree line. And there he was, my friend. About 30 yards down, bent over, just as out of breath as me. I asked him, "Did you see it?" And through gasps, he said, "Why do you think I'm out of breath?" We didn't talk on the ride back, not a word. But when we reached his house, we asked his parents if they'd ever heard anything strange about those woods. They laughed it off, told us to stay out of the woods. So we went to his grandmother. She had lived in that town her whole life. We asked her if she'd ever heard stories. Her face changed. She told us about an old sawmill that exploded decades ago. A tragedy. Almost everyone had died. That explained the old cars, the rusting equipment scattered through the forest. But then she smiled and told us something that made my blood turn to ice. People don't realize, she said, that we aren't alone in this world. I never went back to those woods. Neither of us did. My little hand axe is still back there somewhere, buried under the snow, forgotten in the dirt. But even now, 30 years later, I still dream about that day. Sometimes I wake up in a sweat, certain that if I glance out my window, I'll see that blurry shadow waiting for me in the tree line. And I know, if I ever go back, it will still be there. What do you think my friend and I saw that day? Was it a ghost of the sawmill workers? Something darker? Or just the woods themselves? Making sure we knew they belonged to something else? If you've seen anything strange in the woods, share it in the comments. And if you have a story of your own, send it in for a future episode. Until next time, stay safe and stay out of the woods.